Hello, everyone. Hope you are well on this Monday night. We got Monday out of the way, so it's all downhill from here. That's what I say. I'm going to talk a little bit about how and I'll talk about who the they is, how they want to degrow you. They want to degrowth. That is DEGROWTH. That is a word now they are using. And I'm also going to talk about what do we do about it? How do we react? How do we prepare? Because we better prepare for that. We can't underestimate it. I also have a terrific verse I will share towards the end, so you want to stay tuned for that. But first, have you seen the story about the sub? Apparently this has been going on. They've been having these tours for rich people. They pay $250,000 now, $250K, to get in this little tub, this little submarine, mini submarine. They cram 5 people in there. You don't even have seats or chairs in there. You just cram you in there. And you go down 2 miles to look at that Titanic that's resting at the bottom of the ocean. So, and then we looked into it a little bit more. Mrs. Dawg and I were watching some video about it earlier this evening, and they were talking about how about 1 out of every 5 of these little expeditions are successful. They usually run into some kind of snag or something. Well, apparently they got one that went down this past Sunday to go down to the Titanic, and they hadn't heard. They've lost communication with it. They don't know where it is. Coast Guards are looking for it. United States Coast Guard, Canada Coast Guard. It's a lot all over the news, but it's intriguing. It's interesting. Now, I think some shipwrecks, whatever you want to call it, just don't need to be bothered. I think you just need to let them be. I think that's one of them. There's no way I would pay any money to do anything like that. They couldn't pay me to go down 2 miles in a tin can like that. Anyway, Miss Dawg, we were watching. Miss Dawg was like, nope, no hesitation from Mrs. Dawg. But it's an interesting story. It's ongoing. They don't know whether these people are lost yet. They probably are. Hopefully not. But anyway, I just thought it was an interesting story. Degrowth. Now, I had a viewer send me this a video clip. Now, this was from a recent meeting of that 3-letter group that starts with a W and ends with an F. You know who I'm talking about. And they're calling for degrowth. They want to degrow you. Now, that's their word. Now, it looks like they're using this word instead of that word that's D and then talks about a population, So they're calling for decolonization, redistribution of wealth, cancel climate debt. I don't know what that means. I don't know what they mean by that. I kind of have an idea, but they didn't explain it. Implement UBI, that's universal basic income. A lot of problems with that. It's coming. Degrow. No, they want to degrow the economy in high income countries. Excuse me, but who made them ruler of the earth? I know we didn't. Nobody did. I guess they've crowned themselves that. See how that goes for them. Now, I know I make fun of, I poke fun at them. I've called them, unicorn, pie in the sky, living in a dream world and all that. However, we need to monitor these vermin, okay? And I believe that's totally evil. And they've got their tentacles, the nefarious tentacles, into the high levels of a lot of governments. And that's the only way I can explain it, that it is satanic. And there's satanic deception going on. It's got to be. And it raises some questions for me. What does degrowth mean? Now, I have my idea about it. I think they, to really be honest about it, Mrs. Dawg's out there making faces at me out there. Look at that. She's probably picking more beans. Anyway, I digress. I believe when they mean by degrowth, I think they mean they want they want less of us breathing. They don't want you breathing anymore. You know what I mean? And they want you to own nothing. Of course, that comes before the no breathing part. And and even if and if you really think about it, I mean, it seems like it is. It doesn't seem. It's a very coordinated global effort, and it's not just in this country. If you just listen to what's going on, and even if you take this, and they say you're going to own nothing, and I say own as much as you can, and even if you own your home outright and don't have a house payment, mortgage payment, they're going to raise, and this is already happening, they're going to raise the insurance and the property taxes so much that they're going to try to force you out of it, force you to sell it. That's already a huge effort right now. And some of you probably already felt it. Share your thoughts. Share your thoughts on what you think they mean by degrowth. They want to drive you out of ownership. And so what do we do? How do we deal with that? Because this is a huge effort, and it is apparently got a lot of power and money behind it. We must be able to adapt. We have got to be able to pivot. Okay. And it may involve getting out of our comfort zone. I heard about groups that are buying up land. They've gotten together, pool their money. They buy some land, and they're going to put their own homes, or they build them themselves, or contract others of like mind to build small or tiny homes to try to get around the property tax thing. So they pool their resources. It's going to take something like that, and then live off the land and try to live as independently as they can from the system. Maybe not 100%, but have their own security, etc. And I think that is an answer. Now, that requires coordination and groups and communication, trust. It requires a lot. Other than that, I think, and we mentioned it before here, but multi-generational, multi-family homes, that may just become a necessity. Self-sufficiency as much as possible. So these are the things we need to be thinking about. Food preservation. What can you do on your own? But this is much more coordinated than most think. I do believe this is, like I said, it's satanic driven, and it also brings up another question. It brings up a question that is the AC on the scene? Is the Antichrist on the scene already? And just in the shadows, has not been revealed. And I tend to think so. I really do. I really do. What do y'all think about that? Saw another story. This was in Montana. You may have heard about it. This happened, I think, the last day or so. The ATF IRS raid this firearms store in Montana, Great Falls, Montana. About 20 heavily armed agents swarmed this facility. This was last week, actually. And they just descend on this place and rush in. And yeah. And it's not like they were after the products that this place sells. You know what I mean? They were after what they call 4473 forms. 4473 forms, which is information data. Building a database is what it seems like, or data on customers who have purchased these things. And what does that tell you? I think it's pretty obvious, y'all. I mean, this is apparently happening in a lot around the country, not just in Montana. This is a trend, and it's all over the country. I don't know about Canada; it could be there too, but this is coordinated well beyond our shores. It's obvious, so that's very interesting as well. But I think and like I kind of mentioned earlier, this may really require some coordination, and That's the thing about a lot of folks like us who are preparedness minded. A lot of us are just on our own or just in very small groups, and we're not as strong that way. We are, but we're not as strong. So something to think about, something to talk about. What do you guys think about that? And what can we do? You know, um, okay. Good verse from Malachi. Malachi chapter 4, verse 6 says, "And he will turn the hearts of fathers to their children, and hearts of children to their fathers, lest I come and strike the land with a decree of utter destruction." Amen. Utter destruction. We may see it in our lifetimes. Pray not, but we might. It might be later. It might be years. But I think we very possibly could be living in a time when we're seeing the Bible, what's been predicted, start to play out. You know, a few years ago I would have said, nah, I don't think so. That's something that's going to happen after we're long gone, and we don't know for sure. But with each passing day and each passing year, I'm starting to rethink that. Okay, share your thoughts on that as well. Let's stay aware. Let's keep preparing. Be safe. God bless you. I'll see you soon.